Hi Zero-Sum developers, and in this video we are going to learn the data types and strings in JavaScript. So this is the whole agenda of this class. We are going to cover all these different topics. So the first one would be the importance of strings in JavaScript, and a string is itself a data type. So we'll learn the importance of strings in JavaScript, and then we're going to cover the basics of string. Then we'll move ahead to string indexes, and then we'll see the length property of string, and then we are going to see the other common string methods that are basically used to solve various problems related to strings. And then we will see the last part, which is quite interesting, that how can you solve real world problems using these strings. So these are the problems that a developer face in their day-to-day coding life, their day-to-day development job. So we will have a look at what those problems are and how can you apply all the above mentioned points that you have learned in the real world problem solving. So trust me, this is going to be very interesting. So keep the enthusiasm high and keep watching this video till the end. So let's move to the code editor. So let us discuss the data types and variables in JavaScript. So we have basically these 8 types of data type, and in this video we are going to just cover string. But before that, let us have a look at what variables are. So first let me explain variable to you by a real world example. So let's say you have a green colored ball with which you just play day and night. Okay, so one day your cousin comes to your house and now you need to hide that ball anywhere because he will steal your ball otherwise. So what you do is you hide that ball under a bucket. Okay, so this bucket is basically a container, right? Because it is currently holding that ball. Okay, so in the same way in programming, if you have a data, whatever data it is, and you need to hold it data. Okay, so for holding that data you need to basically need a container, and that container, please listen to me, I'm repeating again, that container is basically the variable. So if I write over here that I need to hide that ball, so let me call it as item, and let me say that it is a ball. Okay, so and this is your string data type. I have introduced you to the string now. This is string data type. It is a value. Okay, this is a value, and you are storing it inside this variable. Okay, so now you need to basically tell JavaScript that what kind of variable it is. So it is a variable which is declared by var keyword. So var is just a keyword which is basically used to tell that this is a variable. Okay, so people who are already somewhat experienced in JavaScript must be thinking that we do have Latin const as well. So just not to confuse the beginners, I have basically just used var as of now. We will discuss Latin const in the later part of this playlist. So as of now, just consider we only have this variable. So you have basically hidden this ball inside this item container. Okay, so this is your item container, and now if you want to access it, what you can do is you can basically write. So in the previous video you saw that I taught you how to use console log. So there you wrote hello world. So now instead of writing this directly in string, what we can do is we can write item over here. Okay, so this item contains this ball data which we have passed now to the console log. So now this will be printed inside the console. Let us have a look. Here it is. Okay, so this is the basics of variable, what variables are. And now let us move to the our strings. So as you have seen, this is a string, but let me again take another example. Let's say username equals to Ashish. Okay, so this is again a string, right? So now strings basically are individual characters. They are basically a group of characters, a sequence of characters. Okay, so here what a is basically a character, right? What s is, it is another character, and so on. All these are characters. Okay, and these characters basically have indexes. So if I say a is at what index, I can say that it is at 0th index. Basically the the starting index of strings is started from 0. It is not started from 1, like in real life. If we do counting, we do it by 1, right? But in strings we count it from 0. Okay, so now, and as it as index 1, h is 2, then again I is 3, 4, and h is at 5, so on. So they are continuous. Okay, it is not like first it will start from 0 and then 3 will come, then 10 will come. So they are continuous. Okay, so now if you need to access individual characters, okay, now we're gonna see access strings. So how do you access them? So you access them using the curly brackets, and before these curly brackets you basically write the variable name which you have declared to hold that string. So in our example, what variable we have declared to hold this string? It's username, right? So here I can write username, and now inside this curly brackets you need to write one of these indexes, whatever character you want to access. So let's say I want to access, as of now I want to access I. Okay, so I is at third position. So what I will do is I will write 3 here, and now let us see. Let me refresh it. Okay, it's not visible. I don't know what went wrong. Maybe it was not refreshed. Okay, it's again not visible. Let's use a name. Oh, okay, I did a silly mistake over here. I forgot to tell you that spaces over here are also counted as a character. Okay, so if I access 3, so at 3, what is the character at 3? It's 0, 1, 2, 3. It's empty space, right? So yeah, this is the blunder which I made. So here what you can do is we can remove the spaces, and now you can see, we'll see I printed. Here it is. Okay, yeah, so now you got to know that spaces are also counted as strings. Okay, and no matter spaces, if you write any other character over here, that will also be counted as a character of the entire string. Okay, so now let us have a look at the length property. So length is basically an important property in strings, and if I need to find what length my string holds, so we can use the length property. And let me remove the spaces again, then I will show you that spaces are also counted. So if I write username dot length, here it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Here it is 6. So now you must be wondering that it is starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The length should be 5. No, if we calculate length, the length is started from 1 itself. Okay, so if it were, let's say, Ashish Singh, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 for the space, which is 7, then 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. It should ideally print 12. So here it is. Okay, so this is how you basically count the length using the length property, or the immutability property of strings. Okay, so I will explain you what immutability is. So let us say we will take this string only. So let's say this is Ashish Singh username, and now by immutability we mean that we cannot change the characters of strings. Like in place of a, I cannot write p. Okay, and in place of this s, I cannot write z. So let us check. So let me first try to change the value. So let me change the value of 0, which is a, and let me assign p to it. Okay, and now if I console log username, username, now we need to see if the change has been made or not. Okay, console log username Ashish Singh. I have logged username Ashish Singh, right? Let me refresh the page. Yeah, it is here. It is Ashish Singh. So you can see the p has not replaced a, right? So this isn't how you can basically try to mutate. You cannot mutate a string like this. Okay, so this is an important property of strings. And now let us see what all things we have discussed. We have discussed the basics of strings. Okay, we have discussed how to write a string. We have discussed about the characters, the sequence of that string is a sequence of characters. We just now checked that strings are immutable, and then we basically know how to access strings, right? And we also discuss about the string.length property. And now we are going to discuss all the common string methods. Okay, so we are going to start with caret, as we have discussed length already. So let's see what caret does. So as you can see, as you can read from here, it accesses a character at a specific index in a string. Okay, so let me create a new string. Email equals to user gmail.com. Okay, and now let's say I need to access a particular character. Let's say I need to access this at the rate, right? So how do I use caret here? So you need to write the string name, and on the top of it you need to attach the caret method. So here we do it, and now call this like so. And inside this you need to pass the index, that which index you want to access. So let's see what at what index this at the rate is. 0 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. Yeah, so it is at 6. Okay, so let me comment all the console logs as of now. Yeah, so ideally it should print at the rate. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so this is how you use caret method. It is basically used to access a particular index, a particular element at a particular index. Okay, so now let us see the second method. Yeah, it is toUpperCase, and then we're going to discuss toLowerCase. So let us take the same example of email. I need to uppercase the email, so I would write email dot to uppercase and call it like this. Okay, and now let me log this. So here you can see I got a uppercased email. Fine, and the same way we can do it for lowercase. So let me first create a uppercase word. Let word equals to, let's say, apple, and let me quickly copy paste this. To lowercase, and now you're gonna see the apple word as lowercase. Okay, it should be word. Okay, and now okay, I need to, yeah, so it is lowercase. Okay, so the apple was earlier uppercase and now it is lowercase. Okay, yeah, so now we need to see other methods. Trim. So trim basically removes white space from the beginning and end of a string. Let's see. So where, let me call it a sentence equals to I am a good person, and let me give a ton of space over here. Okay, so and now And how do we use the trim method? We're gonna use it the same way we did all these methods. You're gonna write the variable name that your string has been stored into, and then you're gonna write the trim method, and you're gonna call it like this, trim. So it will basically removes the space from the beginning and end of the string. So in the beginning you can see there is a one space, and at the end there are many spaces. So it will basically remove all these spaces. See, here the spaces has been removed. So wait, let me show you the length of this first, because the removing of spaces is not clearly visible. So sentence dot length, okay, and first let us check it is of 26 length. And now here I can attach the length method after trimming. See, it is 18. Okay, so I hope you got this. Like before trimming the length was 26, okay, and now the length is 18. So here we can attach methods on methods. Like on trim I have attached this length method, right? So we will see more use cases of attaching, combining multiple methods. Okay, so yeah, this was it. And now let us see what next we have. Method which we are going to discuss is the concat method. Okay, so concat method is basically used to combine two strings into a single string, and not just two strings, we can combine as much strings as we want. So we are going to see a simple and a little bit more complicated example of this. So let me first create a string, so which is first name equals to Abhishek, and a last name which is Sony, and let's say I need to combine both of them. So I'm gonna write console log and first name dot concat last name. So in the browser you can see we got Abhishek Sony. Okay, so notice this, we can write a greeting message, namaste, and we can attach this to this concat method. So for that, let me write the greeting over here, and let me pass the first name like this, and we need to basically, let me give a comma as of now. So here it is, namaste Abhishek Sony, but you can see there is no spacing between them, right? So for the spacing, what we can do is I can do like this. Okay, so now here we have passed an empty string to create an space, and empty strings are also strings, they basically have zero length. So now you can see we have Abhishek, space between Abhishek and Sony, right? So yeah, so if you check, also I wanted to discuss about the empty string a little more. So if you have a empty string, let me declare it using var only, and here it is, and now you need to check the length. So empty string dot length, you would see that the length is 0. Here it is. Okay, so this is helpful, this method is helpful in checking if the string is empty or not. We have discussed it in the above sections also, but here I am just telling that if a string is empty, so here you can check if that is empty or not. Okay, so an empty string would be of 0 length.